Right, before we start this interview, just get this thing out of the way of sleeping in the car. I'm not even going to start the interview properly until you've had your little pipe up about this.
What, sleeping in the car?
Yeah, sleeping in the car.
Well, not that. I'm more bothered about the fact that we were meeting at 6:30 this morning. I'm trying to do you a favour. You know, you wouldn't answer the last question about how do you fund this business. So I'm trying to help you fund this, you know, give you a lift up, all that sort of stuff. We're busy people. 6:30 was the meet time at the Matchroom HQ. 6:35, I phoned you up. And what are you doing? You're still in your long johns playing with your old boy. You don't know what you're doing. So you turned up at 7:30. We just got here to Blackpool. And then you slept the whole way in the car. No banter. You're bringing nothing to the table anymore. You haven't interviewed me for a month. At Eddie Hearn's is furious. At Coogie Bear, I think he's gone to sleep.
Hung himself, I think.
Mate, what's going on? I feel like, and I don't even know if we're going to have chemistry anymore. That's the thing. It's a little bit like, you know, say that you used to be my old bird or something like that, and we get back together, but it's just not working out. And this morning I was really thinking, when Coogie Bear gives me an interview today, are we going to have banter? Is it going to work out? Is the chemistry still going to be there?
Do you know what? I haven't interviewed you because I never interviewed you on Fight Night.
Do you think we'd get more views when you come in here or not?
Well, I don't know.
Someone come in here. Because I want people to see that you look like Papa Smurf. Worst clobber ever. Poor man's Ali G.
Just be aware of that. Well, I apologise for being late.
It's all right.
I went to bed at 2:30. Alarm didn't go
I haven't
off.
seen you for about a month.
I know, you didn't see me for a month.
Actually, I haven't seen you since Liverpool, where you threw your toys out the pram because you didn't have a press seat. Admit you threw your toys out the pram.
Do you want to talk about it now?
Go on then, do
you really want to talk about it now?
I do, yeah.
No, it did fuck me off.
Well,
No, I'll tell you why it fucked me off. Is because Liverpool, Echo Arena, 10,000 people banged out. Everyone from the press who don't normally go to your shows, suddenly sitting there in first row. Fuck off, do you know what I mean? And I think I get mugged off like, oh, KUGAN will be alright, we'll put him round the fucking back.
He'll be alright though, won't he?
No, it won't be alright though.
Yeah, but also, what about when I'm paying for your hotel or I'm paying for your flights? I don't. Listen, I'll tell you, because there was another Terry Dooley from Boxing Scene kicked out a fuss about it. This is a basic situation. The Fire, we tried to pack that arena out as much as we could. I'm a promoter, that's what we do. And they come in the regulations and said, listen, you've got to lose a row. So obviously we sold all these VIP tickets. I'm not going to lose a VIP row, I'm going to lose a press row. So we had to find the people that, unfortunately, all press are important, even you, Papa Smurf, right? But unfortunately we had to find alternative seating arrangements. You in particular, they gave me the list and they went, is there anyone on this list that you couldn't give a monkeys about? And I said, poor man's Ali G, Papa Smurf, aka Coogie Bear. And you know, you had to stand up for a little bit.
Stand up for the whole night. It's like one of your long milked out fucking 15-card bill shows.
Sorry, I'm like to give value.
No, that's all right.
You know.
But all right, listen, I've got over that. No, listen, I had the.
That's why you never called me for a couple of weeks.
No, it weren't why I spoke to you for 2 weeks. Wow.
Can't believe it, Devo.
But okay, let's move on from there anyway.
Okay.
Let's Blackpool.
Yeah.
Winter Gardens, Brian Rose headlining against Wacken Alcin. I'll be honest with you, a few people I've spoke to who claim to be boxing whatever have tipped Alcin to beat Brian Rose.
I think it's a 50-50. You don't know what Alcin's got left. That's the only problem. He's here to win, I know that, and he's back at light middle where he wants to be. He's won world titles. He's fought some of the best fighters in the world in that division. So, and Brian hasn't. Brian's really, you don't know how good Brian Rose is. He might just be British European level. He might be world class, but we want to find out. And this is the kind of fight that you'll find out against.
You can't take a lot from that first round KO by Macklin, can you?
Nothing. I mean, that was at 160. Yeah. Macklin's a world-class fighter anyway. He's proved he's a world-class fighter. Brian hasn't, but it was at 160, and he can punch hard, Macklin, so I'll take nothing from that. Alcin's going to be a little bit tricky. I think Brian's got to take the middle of the ring and just dictate the pace, make him work. He's 37 or something like that, Alcin, so I'm thinking that, you know, Brian's got to dictate the pace. But he's very clever, very cute, and he's, you know, he's chilled out, isn't he? I mean, his heart rate was virtually non-existent when you were talking to him, and most people get really excited when you talk to him because it's a big thing, isn't it, to be interviewed by you.
I'm glad you acknowledge that. To
well, no, it is not every day that you bump into a film star. Poor man's Ali G, aka Papa Smurf,
I
AK.
like it. It's a blue tracksuit. What do you want me to do? It's a blue tracksuit. Am I not allowed to? Let's talk about this blue tracksuit just for literally 20 seconds. Am I not allowed to wear a blue tracksuit?
No, not a shiny blue tracksuit with 3 stripes all the way down to the bottom. No, but like, I mean, if you had jeans on or something like that, but the whole thing is like,
I like the whole thing.
You look like a former member of DMC, Run DMC. You know, like
Killed it.
the geezer who used to wear the clock.
But I like that. That sort of things I style myself on. That sort of 80s hip hop culture. I like it.
Oh, if that's what you're trying to style yourself off, I'll take it all back, because you are looking like an 80s hip hop legend right now.
That's good. I like that. And to be honest, it's not actually caning me. I like that. Lee Selby. I don't know a lot about this Corey McConnell, unbeaten, confident talker, but obviously I've never seen him fight. Lee Selby, Welsh Mayweather, but Lee Selby was telling me that Mayweather's the American Lee Selby. What about that?
I've got to say, I'm not sure I've ever been as excited about a fighter as I have about Lee Selby. He's phenomenal. And you know what? He's got banter and he's got game as well. And he's just starting to find it a little bit. I don't know how he was like in your interview, but I just think he's got a great persona. He's hugely confident. All he cares about, all he lives for, is boxing. Do you know what I mean? And that's all he wants to do. A funny story about Lee Selby. When I first signed him, I said, listen, Lee, I need to know more about you. I said, I need to know what you're into so I can sell you to the public. Tell me about the music you like. Tell me what you like doing in your spare time. Do you like football? Do you like fast cars? He said, I like to race falcons. And I said, right, anything else? He said, yeah, I've got a couple of lurchers and we chase rabbits. And I thought, well, we better just stick to your boxing. But he's honestly so excited about Lee Selby. He's going to be a world champion.
Sorry, just come this way a second. I'm just trying to line you up in there so you're in the centre. Mayweather thing, bit of publicity.
We didn't. Boxing News called him the Welsh Mayweather.
You take that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course. But I just think, I don't think there's many in Britain, if any, have got the natural ability of Lee Selby. And I think when he feels like the man, when he starts walking out into packed arenas, when he gets the media attention, he's just going to come out of his shell and rise as a person and a fighter. Honestly, he's unbelievable.
Will you look to make a fight with Stephen Smith rematch?
Yeah, well, the board have just called for this rematch with Samir Mahmoud, who beat Lee Selby. Yeah, and I'd love to make that fight, but I don't think Samir wants it. I've offered it to him before, and on the way up today, I was offering, I was speaking to. You don't want to be fighting Lee Selby, do you know what I mean? It's just, I mean, even with, it was so difficult to get, this kid, because he don't really know about Lee Selby. He's undefeated. If you watch Corey McConnell on YouTube, he's fast, he's flashy, but unfortunately, that's the style that's going to just eat into Lee Selby's hands. I don't think there's anyone, well, there's definitely no one in Britain that can beat Lee Selby. I don't think there's anyone in Europe who can beat Lee Selby either. I'd love to make the Stephen Smith fight. Joe Gallagher's over there. Stephen Smith's a fighter. He'll want to fight Lee Selby again. Same result for me, even though I think Stephen's a great young fighter. The problem is with Stephen is he's not getting out. He's not being active. And you can't go into a fight like Lee Selby without the confidence and without being active. So he needs fights, and he's just not getting them. So I doubt they'll end up meeting again, because I'm going to box him again in June, after, fingers crossed, everything goes well this Saturday, and then I want him out again. I want him fighting for a world title, potentially by the end of the year.
Oh, big moves, big moves.
A bit like you on the dance floor, big moves.
Big moves. KELL BROOK, what's going on? I'm going to ask you something, but
I know what you're going to ask.
No, listen, I'm going to ask you something, because when Devon pulled out of the fight, I sort of said some things that were suggested via Twitter, really. Loads of people were suggesting things, this whole thing about the picture and that. I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you, because otherwise it just looks like I'm sucking you off or whatever. KELL BROOK, does he want the fight with Devon Alexander?
Do you know, some people are absolute morons. I mean, you're talking about someone, the only way you make money and get paid in the living of boxing is to fight. KELL BROOK is so desperate to fight Devon Alexander, he said to the specialist, I will fight. And it was only when the specialist said, you will have long-term damage if you fight. You could break your navicular, you've got a stress fracture in your metatarsal. It's not possible. You'd be out of spar. If you rested now, you'd need 3 weeks solid rest. You might be out of spar for the last couple of days. KELL BROOK said, that's fine. But how can you let a kid who's 27 years of age, undefeated, go in to a fight against someone like Devon Alexander, who is a brilliant talent, at 40-50%, and just to take all that would be, the only reason would be to take a payday. And he doesn't need to do that at this stage of his career because he can fight again in 5 or 6 weeks when he's ready. Does he want to fight Devon Alexander? There was huge money on the table to fight Devon Alexander. Again, take the money away. This is what we've built towards over the last 15 or 18 months. This is what Kell Brook wants, to win a world title. And he wants to go to America and fight Devon Alexander. He doesn't. When Devon Alexander pulled out first time, I said, you know, there's an opportunity that if he doesn't want the fight, or when he was going to fight Mayweather, they might go down the list. You know, and you might fight Zavek. He went, I don't want to fight Zavek. He said, I want to fight Alexander. That's what he wants. That's what he's been training for, to fight this man. And honestly, some people you read on Twitter, is it legitimate? I mean, what do you think that he's just sitting there and going, and oh, he's trouble with his weight? There was no trouble with his weight at all. Even before, there's a couple of things I want to clear up. One, there was no trouble with his weight at all. The only time there was trouble with his weight was on the first pull-out when he had to rest his ankle and he was up against it to make the weight. He had a bad ankle and he couldn't run. This time around, he had a bad foot and he didn't do any running or any sparring or any bouncing on that foot for a week. He was in the gym with the guys from Sheffield Hallam University. He was rowing, he was biking, he was swimming. But he was also with his dietitian. His weight was fine. It's the fact that he couldn't spar on his foot, he couldn't run, he couldn't jump on his foot, and you can't do it. You know, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, there's a couple of people on Twitter who have said, oh, you knew about this 10 days before, why did you wait till the Monday to announce it? Again, absolute rubbish. I met Kell Brook a week ago last Monday to get his visa done. That was around when the injury first happened. He had an X-ray on the foot, and then on the Thursday he had an MRI scan on the foot and a CT scan. This is last Thursday. On Friday we took it to a specialist who confirmed he had a stress fracture in his metatarsal and also what looked like a stress fracture of the navicular. We then went away and we wanted to see another specialist look at it first thing Monday morning. He looked at it Monday morning, he confirmed the same thing, we pulled him out of the fight. I'm not just going to go, oh, he's got a bad foot, let's pull him out. I want to make sure there's no way we can make the fight and he can't be 100%. So, honestly, I mean, I love Twitter, but sometimes you read it and you just fucking does your head in. Because you know Kell. Do you know what I mean? How bad he wants to fight. And it's not nothing to do with you being pro Kell Brook or pro Matt. You know deep down how much he wants to fight and how gutted he is. He's sick. He's like, he doesn't want to talk to anyone. He's absolutely devastated. And by the way, he's just bought a new house. So he does really need the money, and he ain't boxed since October. So what do people think? You just swan around picking up money off the floor. You got to box, you know, you got to fight, and you got to box, and that's how you make your living. And beyond the money, he wants to become world champion. Doesn't matter if it's Alexander or Mayweather.
Do you know what? The reason why I was getting attacked a little bit yesterday was because, like I said to you, when I interviewed him, I sort of suggested things about the pictures, what people were saying, not I was saying. Yeah. I wouldn't think that Devon Alexander is going to be scared of seeing a picture of Kell Brook being ripped or whatever, but it's a bit gutting for him more. I mean, people forget that, don't they? I mean, it's him that's going through it, really. I mean, we can wait for another day or whatever.
And that's another thing. Fans start going, oh, this is a disgrace. What are you going to... Oh, I've booked... Look, I'm really sorry, but this is a kid's career. This is his dreams. This is everything he's ever wanted since he first stepped through the gym. And it's there, in front of him. There's the opportunity to become a world champion. There's the pot of money. There's the big fight on Showtime, Atlantic City, Sky Sports. And his dream's been broken. So don't worry about the fact that you won't get to see the fight on Sky Sports. Worry that Kell Brook, one of the best young talents in Britain, is getting his heart broken because of an injury. And whether you want to feel sorry for him or not, you don't have to. But it is heartbreaking when you're talking to a kid who, you know, he told me, I will fight, let me fight. And it's like, look, Kell, you can't, you wouldn't have sparred a round hardly for this warm-up time. And he could have gone in there, but he would have been 50% at the best. And then it's like everything you've worked towards, you know, you just throw it away just because you want to be greedy and just purely for the payday.
I was one of them fans that booked it.
Listen, mate. How much money do you think we've lost on this fight? Nothing to do with, you know, his purse, but all the build-up work we've done, the flights that we've booked personally, you know, the team of 5 or 6 people working non-stop for Kell all around the clock, the dietitians we've employed for Kell Brook, the nutritionists we've employed for Kell Brook, the strength and conditioning coaches. I mean, Kell's lost a lot of, you know, I mean, this is bad news for everyone. But unfortunately, it's boxing, and it's the worst side of boxing because it absolutely takes the wind out of you and it kicks you right in the nuts.
Could you just hold on 1 second? Just hold that. I've just got to change the tape. So keep our entertainers just entertained, viewers entertained.
How do you want me to do that? I'll talk a little bit about Blackpool on Saturday night, shall I? Okay, so we've got a stat card, as you can see behind. We've got, for me, potentially one of the fights of the night, young Scotty Cardle. I've got him out 10 times in the year, and now this is his first real test. Central area title against the undefeated Maxi Hughes. And actually, Dave Coldwell is over there. He thinks Maxi Hughes is going to win the fight. Obviously, I'm going for Scott Cardle. Take my hat off to both of them. Two great young undefeated fighters. You've got Matty Askin, who's fighting China Clark, just beat Waddy Camacho. That's for the English Cruiserweight title. And then you've got, in my opinion, one of the greatest young forces in British boxing, Lee Selby, taking on the unbeaten Australian champion, Corey McConnell, for the Commonwealth Featherweight title. And then the big one, Brian the Lion Rose taking on former WBA light middleweight king Joachim Alcine, to find out what Brian Rose is made of and if he's ready for the world scene. Also, young undefeated star Callum Smith, a real super middleweight talent. I think this kid's going to go on and become something very, very special. Been sparring with Froch. Everybody rates him to the hills. GB captain Tom Stalker, he's out. Tommy Coyle, Isaac Lowe, they're also in action. Catch the action from 6 p.m. Just double check that. 6 p.m. on Sky, on the red button. 6 p.m. on the red button on Sky. 8 p.m. live on Sky Sports 1. HD. That's high definition. Coog, you ready?
Right. Were you mugging me off?
No.
What was you
I
doing?
was just hyping the show.
Does it need hyping?
Every show needs hyping. I mean, there's a lot of boxing on Saturday night, isn't there? Frank's got his show at Wembley. Tyson Fury's fighting.
Trout, Canelo.
Yeah, that's late though, isn't it? But, you know, it's good times for boxing. There's a lot of good shows on at the moment.
Okay. In a word, will the fight happen? Brook versus Alexander, in your opinion, will it happen?
Yes.
Really?
This is a situation now. The IBF, who are absolutely bang on, by the way, with the rules, Devon Alexander has to go down the IBF rankings to fight the next available contender. That will become the new mandatory challenger. KELL BROOK will remain at number 1, and he'll have to wait for the next mandatory spot, which will be called in 9 months. Bad news, right? However, Devon Alexander will have to go down the IBF list. Jan Zavek is next. He's fought. I don't think he's available. Next is Rafael Djakovic, who KELL BROOK destroyed in 5 rounds. Now, it's very likely. KELL only needs 5 or 6 weeks, by the way. He needs 3 weeks of total rest on the foot. He's going to keep his weight good. He's going to keep his fitness good. So he'll be ready to go with a 6-week camp. So the problem that Golden Boy have got now with Devon Alexander is they'll have to fight probably Rafael Djakovic. No one wants to see that fight. It's a waste of time. Showtime won't be interested in the fight. So the only other option, I believe, for him is to try and vacate that title. And then I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's a horrible situation, not just for us and for KELL, but for Devon and Golden Boy. Because this is a great fight, KELL BROOK against Devon Alexander. But, you know, I've spoke to them and we're talking, and I've just got a funny, sneaky feeling I'm going to pull something out of the bag, and it's going to happen. I really do. Because I think it's a good fight. I think the networks want to see it. And I think the other alternatives to Devon Alexander right now, for the sake of 5 or 6 weeks, you know. But maybe everyone wants to just draw a line through it and say, fucking hell, this has been a nightmare, let's just all move on. KELL wants to fight, you know, and if we don't get that fight, we are in a difficult position. And I'll have to try and manoeuvre something out of the bag, you know, for KELL. But he's 27, you know, it's not as devastated as he is, and it is a massive blow. You know, he's still got time, and he's still a great fighter.
You announced the rematch. You announced the rematch, Bellew Chilemba. Do you think? Have you watched the fight back?
Yes.
And what do you think happened?
I gave it to Tony by a round.
Okay.
Right. And you know me, listen, I know it's very easy for me to go, I'm transparent, I'm truth, but I'll tell you the truth. And after the fight, I said, I don't think Tony did enough in that fight, being for a final eliminator, to deserve the victory. Doesn't mean I don't think he won the fight. I think he did, but at the end of the day, the best way I can describe it is that when the bell rang, the final bell, I was bricking it. I didn't know which way it could go. So therefore, that tells me it's a dead heat. Do you know what I mean? And I don't always get it right with the scoring. Of course I don't. When I watched it back, I think I gave him something like 4 of the first 6 rounds. I think I gave him it was like 6-5 or something like that in rounds, giving Tony the last as well. But he just didn't, neither of them did enough to be able to stand there at the end of it and say, I deserved that. Do you know what I mean? Tony started well, first 5 or 6 rounds. He should have continued that. He took a breather in round 7, which was a massive mistake. And then just, I don't know what it was, concentration, bored, I don't know. But at the end of the day, we could have lost that fight, and we didn't. So we're still here, and we've got a chance to put it right. The WBC, we had an opportunity, really, because that fight was drawed. We're the #1 challenger. We could have just sat on that and tried to become the mandatory. But we've got to put this fight to bed. And Tony needs to perform better than that if he's going to prove to people that he's ready for Chad Dawson. I feel for Tony, because 1, he's a great bloke, 2, he's a great fighter. But unfortunately, when he talks so passionately about the fight and his performance, and you put yourself up there to be shot down if things don't work out, and the public love to just slate someone who said they were going to do this, said they were doing that, and it didn't. But at the end of the day, sometimes you get in a ring and it just doesn't work out. Things change. Chilemba's really difficult tactically and technically, but Tony's got a chance now on a massive card on Froch Kessler, live on HBO, to put it to rest and to go and grab it this time. I just sometimes feel in life when you get opportunities like that, you can't just nick it, you got to grab it. And I don't think he grabbed it. I think he saw a way to try to win the fight that was a little bit easier than the other way, and that's the way he went for. Perhaps subconsciously, I don't know, but you've got to go and take those opportunities, and I'm glad we've got the opportunity to do it again.
If one of your fighters is in a very close fight, and in your head while you're watching it, you think they lost, what do you tell the media and what do you tell the fighter, your fighter? Is it 2 different things?
No, not really. If he's, I gave a press conference after that particular fight, and they said, "What do you think?" And I said, "I gave it to Tony, but I think it could have gone either way." And that when you score a fight by a round or something like that, it could go. If they would have given it to Chilemba by a round, I would have thought, "Oh, that's a bit harsh," but I wouldn't have screamed the place down because it was that kind of fight. The only thing that people have got to realise is, another thing people talk about, hometown decisions. If we were a country where hometown decisions operated, and I know there was 3 neutral judges, but even if boxing was, and I know hometown decisions apply in some countries, some geezer gave it to Chilemba by 4 rounds. That was ridiculous. Chilemba by 1, maybe. Chilemba by 2, I don't think so. Tony by 1, yes. Tony by 2, maybe. Draw, yes. But, so really, I think because it was so close, people would expect Tony to get the decision. But I actually think it was quite fair, other than the guy who gave it by 4 rounds, Tony. An African judge gave it to Tony by 1 round. I think a Swiss judge gave it a draw. No problem with them. French judge, or whoever it was, 4 rounds to Chilemba. Listen, me and Tony had a little ding-dong after that fight because I told him straight. He said to me in the changing room, what do you think about that? I said, I don't think you did enough to win. I thought you were poor. Didn't go down very well, but what's the point?
There's no point. That's what I'm saying.
No. I can't. I've seen so many people do it, and it's oh mate, you were robbed. But the truth is, yes, I thought he just won it, but did he deserve to win it? Probably not. So, and listen, I love the geezer to bits, but you got to tell people the truth. There's no point masking it, otherwise they won't learn. And I believe he'll learn. I believe he'll come back a better fighter.
Are there going to be tickets available for fans of Tony Bellew? Obviously on this already sold out card. You said something on the radio the other day about boxers' tickets, so it's going to be a limited amount.
There is. We've kept a very limited amount of tickets back for undercard fighters. So George Groves will have tickets, Tony Bellew will have tickets, and you're not talking about hundreds and hundreds, but enough to let all the people that have followed these people around the country to all their fights get tickets to come and support them. It's been a real struggle with the tickets. We've got over 10,000 people signed up to our online system waiting for tickets, and do you know how frustrating that is as a promoter? But what can you do? 18,000 people packed into the O2. It's going to be a special night, and some have got them. And I know some touts have got older tickets, but that's the same with any major sporting event. Doesn't matter whether it's a concert or a FA Cup final or Champions League. It's just that's how it goes when there's a sold-out event. Touts are not stupid. They know if they can get hold of a ticket, they can resell it for, you know, for a turn. And that happens even, you know, your beloved football club when they're having a big game. Well, that don't really happen that much anymore.
Vice chairman of Leyton Orient.
Small club, big heart. I watched the game last night at the Emirates.
Tickets for Eric Clapton. Do you and your missus want it?
What's that got to do with Leyton Orient?
I bought some yesterday.
Eric Clapton?
Yeah, do you fancy Eric Clapton? You can have them, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. What's your favourite Eric Clapton track?
That one, you know, Wonderful Tonight.
Yeah, that's nice.
Big question I need to ask you. If Bellew comes through this fight, will you look to make a fight with Tyson Fury?
Do you know what? People are really harsh
on
the Talk Sport guys because but you got to understand, you know, these are not boxing people, and he didn't mean that about Tony Bellew against Tyson Fury. He was reading off a thing, and then when he said it, he went, and I went, I hope not, because Tony Bellew's a light heavyweight, and he went, no, I mean, you know, but
also,
yeah, but you know what, like about boxing,
Eddie, come on, listen. I know that like you go on that show and it's a great plug and all that, but Goldstein, Cundy, come on. You must have listened to that. You're a boxing man. You must be listening to them, right? And think
I don't. I just listen to them and think, you don't know a great deal about boxing. It's like me talking about cricket or rugby union. Great example. I mean, fucking hell. I played it when I was about 15, but that was it. I don't know any of the players. But when you're having a sports show and all of a sudden you got some boxing promoter in there, you've got to talk boxing for an hour. It's not as easy as it looks. I mean, you may be a lyrical genius.
I'm not.
You may be one of the finest broadcast entrepreneurs of our modern day. Sure. But
I'm not.
Some people are just...
No, but what I just think is, listen, they're debatable whether them two know anything about football, but they know about football. People might not like what they hear, but then... Listen, I don't know anything about boxing, but I listen. I don't know anything about it. Listen, no, it is not harsh. I don't know anything about boxing. I just say what I see to a certain extent. Say what you see.
Is that Roy Walker?
But them two, they do aggravate me talking about boxing, especially when they were talking about David Hayes' comeback. This wasn't on that show, by the way. It was the one before with Johnny Nelson and Colin Hart were on it. And they really give it to Hay without justification, really. And they touched on it a little bit in your thing. I listened to the whole thing.
Yeah, listen, I mean, we've got to educate people about the sport. That's all I can say. And it's not going to happen overnight. And some people are interested, some people aren't. Some people know a little bit, some people know a lot. I just think sometimes boxing fans in particular jump on things so quick. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, God. And I know he made a legitimate mistake about that fight. There is no way he thinks Tony Bellew is a heavyweight. I saw his reaction.
Or does he think that Tyson Fury's a light heavyweight?
No, he doesn't. But he made a mistake. I mean, fucking hell, give the geezer a break.
All I want to know... I make loads of mistakes.
I
make loads of mistakes. But another thing I've got to ask you is, will you be looking to sign Lennox Lewis when he comes out of retirement?
So I heard that one. But what he said there, Jason Cundy, was, if Lennox Lewis come out of retirement, could he still compete at championship level? Yeah, but they're sports broadcasters. They're not boxing promoters. So, you know, we're just trying to grow the sport, spread the word. And you have to go on these shows and try and educate them and people about our great sport.
Did you also know that David Hayes has been retired for 2 years? Did you know that?
What, since the Hay fight? Is that 2 years ago?
No, he fought last July. But according to TalkSport, he's been retired for 2 years. I've heard him mention that a lot, by the way.
Was it last July?
Yeah, last July. July 14th, actually. It was raining.
You sure it was last July?
I'm 100% sure, because we were there. It was the same day as Essex Polo.
Oh, I was there.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Did you have to buy a ticket?
No, but it pissed down with rain. And it was
I didn't see you there. Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Were you in a box?
No, I was second row. And it was absolutely pouring down. It was fucking mad. And you couldn't get a taxi to the stadium itself, so you had to park like a mile away and run. Or walk fast.
Okay. Well, fast car ready.
Cheers, Cougar Bear. Don't forget my man bag.
Can I just say, yeah, I've got a Joey Essex man bag coming for Eddie, by the way. So basically, just so I know, if I wear a different colour tracksuit, like I don't know, say a red one, a bright red one, oh, KUGAN's a tomato. Or, hold on, a green one, oh, KUGAN's a what?
A pepper.
I was going to say like some grass.
Or a marrow.
So basically, safe colours when I'm round Matchroom is just black.
Listen, you're 6'5", right? You're on the wrong side of skinny, yeah, like me. I won't mince my words. Something you got to own up to and face up to those facts. When you turn up all dressed in one colour, right, and then when we saw you at the Holiday Inn car park this morning, you know, and you walk down, it's like, look at that geezer. What is he doing? Do you not think people look at you and go, is that a wind-up? When we're in Blackpool, it's like the king of the stag weekends. If you went up and down that promenade now, they all think you were on a wind-up.
No, I did walk through.
And what happened?
They looked...
I just thought you were on a stag do, and someone said, look, let's all wear the worst clothes we can possibly wear this weekend. Or let's look like the biggest rascal we can. Or let's go out looking like a complete lemon. And that looks like what you've tried to do on this particular stag do, except there is no stag do. I know you're trying to create your own image, but it's
not my own image.
It is your own image.
My own image.
Yeah, but it's fucking horrendous, mate.
Listen, careful what you fucking say on this channel, right?
What?
All right, listen, I'll tell you what. Why don't you go and knock on fucking Goldstein and Cundy's door every day and see if they'll have you every day?
Oh, they've already said, actually. Would you like to come on full time?
Oh, well, fuck you then. Stay on Talk Sport. Well, you don't want to come on Live from London, am I? Careful what you say.
Oh, are you threatening me, Coogie? Papa Smurf having a threat?
Careful what you say.
Do I want to go on iFILM London? Listen, I've
love iFILM London.
I do love iFILM London.
Do you love iFILM London more than Talk Sport? Just tell me that.
Do you know what? I got a lot in here for iFILM London. I feel part of your success. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
We feel part of your success.
But you never really told us how you make money.
Do you want to know?
Go on. Yeah, I'll do that. People want to know.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
Right.
I think you should explain.
Right. All right, and look, all right, let's talk. Okay. No. Well, I'm not ready to talk about this.
At the end of the day, it's YouTube advertising, isn't it? But the problem is with that is sometimes I don't want to watch a boxing clip where I've got to watch an advert at the start of it. And do you get money if they click off? You know when it says click here to end ad. If they click that, do you still get your money?
I don't know.
I don't think you do.
I don't know.
So therefore, if you're watching a iFILM London clip, make sure you watch the whole ad, so KUGAN can get some more clobber.
Yeah. So Blackpool, do I have a seat, or are you going to mug me off again?
If you wear all red, and you come as the tomato, you get a seat.
I've got red.
All right.
I've also got maroon.
I've seen it. I don't like the maroon. I want full bright red, the full tomato. Then you got a seat.
All right. Fair enough. You're spending a lot of this time this interview away.
Yeah.
Right, okay, this interview is very long, but it doesn't matter. People will ultimately watch it anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It is. Great to see you again, mate.
Yeah. Say hello to your pals, Andy and Jason, when you see them.
I will.
Yeah.
I like Andy Goldstein and Jason Gunn. I think they're nice blokes. They treated me well. You can only treat people how they treat you and seem like nice blokes.
I'm sure deep down they are.
They won't lose much sleep over what you got to say, to be honest with you.
I'm sure they won't. They're very well-known broadcasters.
So
I'm just an internet mug, really, aren't I?
No, you're not. You're a very well-known broadcaster. You've got a huge cult following. Cult. When someone says you've got a huge cult following, it means very small. It's true, though, isn't it? When they go, you've got a cult. Because I've said that before about... You know, I said it about Choi the other day. I said Choi has got a huge cult following within boxing. That generally means quite a small following, but hardcore. So you've got hardcore.
Let's see when your deal with Sky expires and see whether you've got a cult following or not. I hope you haven't. I hope it's the continuous one that you have now, but we'll assess this in a while.
Expires is not a word that comes into the Matchroom dictionary, old boy. Just extension.
Put on the shows then.
I do.
Froch Kessler. Start with that.
What about it?
Where am I going to be sat for that?
Mate, you won't even be allowed in the arena.
Listen,
that's how bad it is for that.
If you don't let me go to Froch Kessler...
It's £1,000. It's £1,000 in a ringside. If you take a seat in a ringside, it's £1,000. Can I just give you 50 quid and you can watch it on box office?
No. Because you've got all these other mugs that apply, like I said to you at the start of it.
Don't just sit.
I'm not going to. No, I'm not.
Who are these
listen,
mugs?
no.
No. Who are these mugs that you talk about sitting in the press row? Come on, because you'll see.
I don't know who they are.
What, who are they?
Some of them I know. They're always at your shows.
They're mugs, are they?
All right, they're not mugs. I apologise. I'm not calling you all mugs. But what I'm saying is, a lot of them don't come to your shows. I come to all your shows.
Well,
all
got
of them.
Nothing else to do.
I have got things to do.
Like what?
Sugar Hut TV. Careful, because you spend some time in there. Mickey watches my videos. What you got to say about that?
Top man, Mickey. Top club.
Folded. Yeah. All right, listen. Thank you very much for talking to iFILM
Cheers,
London. I think we're back.
We're back, haven't we? We've still got it.
Little high five. KUGAN CASSIUS for iFILM London. That was Eddie Hearn. Thank you very much.